What's up, YouTube, and welcome to my pickups video for the month of November 2017. I will say right ahead that this is a pretty light video this month. Wasn't for lack of trying. I did a lot of travel this month. Hit Chicago, Kansas City, a few other places in Missouri, all over the place, really. But unfortunately, there just didn't really seem to be a lot of deals or things that interested me this month. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I'll show you the things I got for Sega systems first. First one of these is one of the card games for the Sega Master System. Basically just like a PC Engine cue card type game. There was only 6 of these, I believe, for the US system, so there's not a whole lot of these. Basically a Transformers ripoff called Transbot. I've always been curious about this game and found a complete copy while I was up in Chicago, so nice to add this to the collection. I haven't had a chance to play it because since it's a card-based game, you'll actually have to use physical Master System hardware or the Genesis adapter thingy, and that's not normally how I play my Master System games now. So once I get around to it, looking forward to checking that one out. And the only other thing I got for a Sega system this month is Demolition Man for the Sega CD. Can't really say I fondly remember this movie, but it does have somewhat significance on the Sega CD because this was actually the last game released in the United States. So just kind of interesting as a curiosity for that reason. I highly doubt the game is very good considering its acclaim, but just nice to have, you know, just one of those oddball games for the Sega CD like that. Moving on, I'll talk about some games I got for PS1. Again, not really a great month this month, but I've got a few games for it. Picked up Spot Goes to Hollywood. This game, for some reason, really seems to be creeping up in price all of a sudden. I don't really see it out that often, so I decided just to go ahead and grab it. I've had this game on the Saturn for a few years, and didn't really care for it that much, but maybe the PlayStation version is slightly different, who knows. Also was kind of on a kick on Ninja-related games for the PS1 that I didn't have, so I bought Ninja. Eidos's Ninja-based game. Don't really know much about this one. I think it's released by the developers of Tomb Raider or something like that. Probably even says that on the box. I didn't feel like reading it. But not really expecting much from a Western-developed Ninja game. I do really like Ninja action games. I just don't really think that they work so well in 3D. It's more of a 2D, fast-paced genre, in my opinion. But I didn't let the theme die there. I also got the 2 Tenchu games, and these were huge sellers on the PlayStation. Just for some reason, I never got them back in the day. May have played this one for about 5 minutes, but really don't even remember it. So these I know were more about the stealth aspect. I don't know. We'll see how it is. So I got the first one as well as the sequel. And just nice black label releases of these. Not the greatest hits, but who knows. Don't know if I'll get into those. The PS1 game I got that I'm most excited about, this was a huge find for the month, was Psychic Detective. This is one of the harder to find Longbox games, and to just walk in a store and find it at a really good price was a really nice surprise this month. It's a 3-disc game, and it's just a FMV-based mystery-type game, I guess would be the best way to describe it. I actually owned this a couple years ago, but when I was completing my US Sega Saturn set, I traded this to a local collector because he really wanted it for his PS1 Longbox set. So he had something I needed for Saturn. I did an even swap with him. I don't regret it because it was another game I really needed, but it's taken me that long to find another copy of this. So definitely holding on to this one, and really a good one to get for PS1 you just don't see often at all. So no jewel case variant of that one exists, so it's a Longbox exclusive. It's kind of interesting just for that too. PS2 I got one game. This is Nightshade by Sega. I've owned the Japanese version of this, Kunoichi, for several years. It's basically the female shinobi, is what they were going for with this. It's a very good game, in my opinion. I don't really think it gets talked about too often. And this game, for some reason, the US version is very hard to find in decent condition. It doesn't go for a whole lot, but every single time I find this game, it's totally beat up. So I don't even think this one's perfect, but it'll serve as a placeholder for now. I got one game for the PS4 this month, and that is the new release of Axiom Verge, however you say that. For the PS4, and everyone's calling this the latest Castle Troid game, or whatever they actually call those things. I would just say that this is a straight homage to NES Metroid. That's the best way I can describe it. The tone of the music, the level design, everything, it's very great. It kind of sucked me in. I played this for several hours last weekend, and definitely an excellent game. Looking forward to playing this a little bit more. Moving on, I got some odds and ends for some other systems. Nothing really, no themes here or anything like that. Picked up Beautiful Joe 2 for the GameCube. I've actually never played a Beautiful Joe game. These have always kind of interested me, but never really went for it. So I'm going to start with this one. If I like it, I'll probably pick up the other two for GameCube, and then maybe some of the other side games they have in the series, like for DS and things like that. Also grabbed a random Xbox 360 game that I'd just never seen before. I don't know if this is any good or not, but it had some brands of cars I like in it, so Race Pro. I would assume this is kind of like some of those European-based Codemasters games that they released a lot of for some of the 3D systems. Don't really know a whole lot about this one at all, so looking forward to checking it out at some point. For the Wii, I got considered to be one of the rarest games on the system. I don't know how true it is, but I do know I don't see it too often, and that is Mr. Bean's Wacky World. Not really a big fan of Mr. Bean, but just saw this out in the store and figured, yeah, I better grab this now before it disappears completely. Really don't think this will be any good, but, you know, whatever. It's always nice to have just one of the oddball games for the Wii. Moving into some portable games, I got one game for the Sega Game Gear, that is Fatal Fury Special. This game came out on several systems, but for some reason the Game Gear version is considered to be somewhat difficult to find, and I don't really see it too often, so just nice to grab that. I got one game for the PSP, and that is Samurai Shodown Anthology. It's really the same thing here. This game's out on a lot of different systems. It's a great compilation. It's got like 6 or 7 Samurai Shodown games all in one, and just nice to have it for a portable system too, so went ahead and grabbed that. The rest of these were Game Boy releases, so I got Power Quest for the Game Boy Color. I see this game all the time, and just for some reason had never bought it. I've always assumed that this was a Mega Man style action game, but it turns out it's actually a 2D fighter, and I don't know, I watched some video of it, it looked okay, I just haven't had a chance to sit down with it yet. But not really what I was expecting, but I would say this was a pretty good selling game, early Game Boy Color release, so it's easy to find if you're interested in it. For original Game Boy, I got kind of a stack of games. I don't really think there's anything too exciting, but got Urban Strike. This one, it's a pretty late release, actually, for the Game Boy. You don't see it too often, but it doesn't go for a lot. World Bowling. I actually have a secret interest in bowling games. Some of them are actually pretty fun. I don't know how that one will hold up. I haven't tried it yet. Got some of the Disney Capcom games I didn't have, so I picked up Tailspin. I did not like this cartoon back in the day, so again, I probably am very biased against whether this game will get played much, but I have it. I got another Spot game, in this case Cool Spot, for the Game Boy. I think there's like 3 or 4 Spot games for the Game Boy. Another very late release for the system that, again, I don't think is real easy to find is FIFA 97. Just who really cared about buying Game Boy games in late 96, right? The Game Boy game I'm most happy about finding this month, this one has taken me just months to find in a store. I'm sure it's easy to find online, but this was very difficult to find in a store in person, and that is the original release of Ducktales 2 for the Game Boy, published by Capcom. So typically, I would say 9 times out of 10 when you see this game, it's the Nintendo re-release, the Player's Choice version with the nasty gold logo on it. It removed the Capcom publishing logo, so the artwork really looks quite a bit different. And this original version, I don't know, I'm telling you, it's pretty difficult to find. I don't really even think this game sold that well, and then they just released a Player's Choice version just for fun or whatever, and then that one did sell well. So very happy to find that one again, just to see that in the store and grab it. Really closing in on the end here, so I got a box and manual for Relief Pitcher for the Super Nintendo. This is a deceptively rare game for the system, especially the box and manual. I've seen this go for quite a bit of money. I was just interested in it for a couple reasons. Number one, I really like baseball games, but who thought that a game about a relief pitcher would be a selling point? Like, that's one of the least heralded positions on the field. It's just a really odd choice. Maybe catcher was unavailable that year. I don't know. The other thing that's a little weird is it's released by a developer called Left Field. I don't think they released anything else for the system. I think this is it. And finally, just because I'm a St. Louis Cardinals fan, this game's interesting because it has digital narration by Jack Buck, the famous Cardinals announcer. So there you go. Relief pitcher. Final thing I got for the month, and this was a long time coming, was the GameCube, I don't even know what they're calling this thing, the plug-and-play HDMI adapter, dongle thingy. Best way I can describe this is the latest revision that lets you play your GameCube at HDMI. It is wonderful. My GameCube games really look good with this, especially F-Zero GX. That game is just amazing that came out on GameCube with all the things it does, not only with graphical power, but speed. And this is really a great device to get the most out of that game. Supposedly this is the revised version that won't fry your GameCube if you shake it around like a salt shaker. I don't ever do that, so I don't think I even would have had a problem with the other version. But I think I put in my pre-order for this about 4 months ago, and just now got the green light that it's okay to order it. Once I put the order in and paid for it, I had it in like 4 days. So if you're interested in one of these, I think they're going to be more available here shortly. I don't even know if they're doing multiple colors anymore, but my GameCube's black, so this actually works out just fine. And really happy to have it. I'm probably going to play some more GameCube stuff this weekend, just to really get to know this thing. So definitely a good tool to have. I don't know if some other competing ones will come out soon that'll bring the cost down. Right now it's about $100. But so far, money well spent, just because my GameCube was getting really dusty since I didn't like using it through the AV cables. And we all know the Nintendo component cable, you can't even get those ever at a decent price. So that's about it for the month. Like I said, short month, short and sweet. Thank you for watching this video. Please take a moment, like, comment, subscribe. I'm really trying to get some other content out that is not pickups videos. I've just been very busy lately with life and everything. So hopefully soon I'll have some other content for you beyond just these pickup videos. But that's about all that's going on. Thanks for watching again, and I will talk to you soon.